Ciao. Let's try this again. Let me wait for y'all to get up in here. Let me wait for y'all to get up in here. Hey, we're gonna see if this shit works out or not this time. We are going to see. I'm just gonna wait for some more people to get in here. I did a full update on my MacBook. So if that didn't work, then I don't know. But I did a full update on my MacBook because it was time to get a update. Um, I know y'all can hear, but the issue is that y'all will be able to hear me, and then fucking 2 minutes later, y'all are not able to hear me anymore. So I'm just gonna dumb diddly. I'm gonna dumb diddly and just talk about mindless things for a few minutes just to test the temperature on this thing. Because what I think happened, I think it just made my MacBook angry because I needed an update. And I think it was just like, bitch, we ain't trying to hear what you're trying to say. You need to get this MacBook updated. So I just went on ahead and I just updated it, and I got the newest update of, it's like Mac Tahoe or something. I hear it. I think it's the live issue and update probably helped the cam and mic keep up. Yeah, honestly, I think that's what it was. So I'm gonna keep a close eye on the chat and just beware of you all letting me know if the sound decides to be crazy. But we've been 2 minutes in, and so far there has not been an issue with the sound. So I'm going to trust the fact that the sound is indeed back to how it's supposed to be. I learned my lesson. I'm just going to keep shit the way that it is. And apparently, y'all don't really care about me having a nice fancy camera, but I got to find something to do with this camera, man. I do. I got to find something to do with it. Maybe I'll record poll content on the camera or something. All right. So I was talking about communication and essentially how the advice of you needing to communicate is bullshit, and I feel as though it's not really good advice. And the reason why it's not good advice is because it's draining your energy. And they know it's draining your energy. When people are telling you this, we have telekinesis, okay? Especially women. You've had women friends before. You know, you can look at a woman and you can know right away if something's wrong with her. And based off of the last conversation that you had with her, you'll be able to put two and two together, and you'll know exactly that something is wrong with her, and you'll know exactly why something is wrong with her and what that something is. You will know exactly what it is without you having to communicate with the person. So I feel as though giving the advice that women need to communicate, it's more fucking labor. It's another way for your energy to leak. It is another way for you to gain frustration, because your communication is never going to be strong enough to get a person to respect what the fuck it is that you have to say. It's really that simple. Your communication is never going to be strong enough to get somebody to respect and care and listen to what the fuck it is that you have to say if they indeed don't care about what it is that you have to say. That is the reason why communicating with people is a waste of fucking time. I do not communicate with people and tell them where they went wrong. I do not communicate with people and say, do we got beef? I know we have beef. I know we have beef. There's no need for me to be able to communicate these things, because I feel the energy and I know where it's coming from, and I know why it's coming from the person that it's coming from, or why it's there in the first place. There is no need to communicate. You being told to communicate is you giving excuses to stay in a situation that you no longer need to be in, because you have been told that communication is the formula that you need that's going to solve your problems. And that couldn't be any further from the truth. If I'm communicating to someone in English and they only understand Spanish, that's exactly what it's like when you're communicating to a person that is they are very much tied to misunderstanding you, or they don't respect what it is that you have to have. They can only understand Spanish and you're speaking in English. So you're talking, you're going on and on and on and on about your feelings, about how their acting is impacting you, and you are trying to get your point across, and you're trying to explain everything. They already know what they did was wrong. They already know how you feel. They already know that they've disrespected you. They don't care. They just simply don't care. And you sitting here thinking that you have to explain these things. We are adult grown people. I cannot believe that women think that it's normal to communicate with adults over obvious things that are disrespectful, over obvious things where it's like, I already know how the person is feeling, and the person already knows how I'm feeling. What do we need to communicate? We need to talk. Have you ever noticed that you'll have a conversation with someone, and it'll be after they say, "We need to talk about this," and then you talk about it, and then the problem keeps coming up. The same problem keeps coming up over and over and over and over. No, because you're a person is going to be who they're going to be. One talk is not going to change somebody's habits and how they view you and how they think. Just take the L and move on. This is also why I don't believe in closure. Oh, I need to send him a text message to tell him how I feel for closure. No, subconsciously, you want to use communicating as an excuse to make a last ditch attempt to get your way. It's another form of narcissism, if I'm being completely honest. Communication is a form of manipulation that women use. Honestly, if I could be just real about it, women use communication as a form of manipulation with each other and with men. Just like how women will be like, "Oh, you're so cute and I look up to you and you're so nice." They're and then whole time they're talking shit about you to another person. That's you using communication to be manipulative. I will communicate things to a person so that way I can hide my true feelings about this person. That's manipulative. That's using communication as a form of manipulation because you're too cowardice to either number one, decide that you don't want to deal with the person anymore, or number two, decide that you just are like, you want to know what? I'm just not going to talk to the person anymore. Those are the only two options that you usually have. You're either going to decide to not deal with the person anymore, or you're going to say how it is that you really feel. Most of the time, women are too cowardice. They're never going to tell you. They're never going to tell you how they really feel. And so a lot of the time, hold on. A lot of the time these people, they want to be able to they want to keep communicating because they want to have an opportunity to change somebody's mind, and they think that they can use their mouthpiece to be able to change somebody's mind, when in reality that's not how it works, and it's just never going to work. The people are thinking the way that they're thinking already. It is what it is. And then another thing is that people are not used to, because like ghosting, okay? People have a strong aversion to ghosting. And you want to know why? Me, I'm team ghosting. Okay? Me, I'm team ghosting. If you ask me how I feel about ghosting, I am team ghosting. If you do not want to communicate with somebody anymore, you don't have to communicate with them anymore. I do not feel as though people are owed an explanation. I do not feel as though people should feel entitled to feeling like they have to have a sense of closure from you explaining something to them, because they're not fucking stupid. They know exactly what they did. Communication is for young children when you have to explain to them, hey, that wasn't nice. Hey, that was a very mean thing to say. Hey, that was disrespectful. Communication is for children. Communication is not for adults because humans are predictable. Humans are very, very predictable. If you have a sense of pattern recognition and you accept human behavior and you're actually paying attention to the world around you, humans are predictable. You will know exactly what someone is going to do in response to you doing something most of the time. I feel as though communication is an excuse that we like to use to make it seem as if humans are such these unique, hardwired specimens that are just so hard to figure out. No, they're not. No, they're not. She said, thing is, with guys, it's a lose lose. I ghosted him and he took it as me leaving the door open in the future. Here's the thing with men, when all you have to do is talk to a man once, and that is enough for him to have, in his mind, the door will always be open. Always remember that. Any interaction that you have with a man is always going to see that interaction as an open opportunity. Even if you ghost him, even if you tell him that you're not interested, even if you tell him that you hate his guts, even if you block him on everything, once you let a man in, a man is always going to think that he will have the opportunity to come back in your life. It could be 10 years from now. It could be 10 years from now, a marriage from now, children from now. Once you have that door open and you've let them walk in that door once, they are always going to see that they will forever have an opportunity to come back through that door to be able to have access to you. You must get that through your head. That is something that you must accept. You do not ever have an interaction with men and you close the door on them, and that is it. Ghosting will never ever be enough. You literally have to block them, and even then, they'll be so obsessed that they'll get a friend and they'll just be beside a friend and they'll follow you, and then they'll look at your page from your friend, or they'll make a burner account and then they'll follow you from their burner account. That's just how it goes. That's just the harsh reality. They will find you on LinkedIn too. Yes, they will stop at nothing. Always remember that. That's why people are like, "Oh, Queen, are you dating?" No, I'm not dating. No, I'm not dating, because I don't feel like having an interaction with a man and having the door be open for him to think that he will have access to me forever. Personally, I'm not interested in having, and personally, I'm not interested, because women don't understand that these men are lying to you, a large majority of them. A large majority are lying to you when they're talking about how they have access to all these women and you're wifey type and you're the type that I'll only sleep with. They lie to women and they try to sell this dream to women by saying that, well, I have all of these options. No, they don't. That's the reason why they have to keep the door open. They have to keep the door open because at some point they're going to look around and they're not going to have any options. So they have to go to Old Faithful. They have to go to Old Faithful. Back in the day, there was a content creator. I can't remember his name. He was a light-skinned black dude and he had light eyes. He had a fade haircut. And I remember he used to talk about the bottom bitch. He used to talk about the bottom bitch. And he would always say how, like, you need to have a bottom bitch. Like, your bottom bitch is like the woman that you'll be able to rely on when all the cards fall apart with all the women that you're dealing with. They don't want to go out and look for something new. They want to be able to have a quote unquote bottom bitch that when they fall from grace, they have some cushion and padding from another woman that they already have a history with. Men want to have a sense of familiarity because they don't want to go back out there and start all over. This is the reason why a lot of these men, you're never the only woman in a man's life. Never. You're never the only woman in a man's life. When a man mentally decides that he no longer wants to deal with you, he will seek for the next woman. Men are never idle. They never allow themselves to be idle. As soon as they decide that they don't want to deal with you anymore, they're going to start going on the hunt for another woman because they want a monkey branch. They want to be able to end one relationship and just have another woman already ready there because they don't like to be idle and they don't like to be alone. Men are always keeping their time occupied with a woman. Always. Whether they're looking for a woman on a dating app, whether they're taking a woman out on dates, whether they're flirting with the women that they work with, they're always allowing themselves to be in proximity to women so that way they can have a supply. Point blank, period. They always want to be able to have a supply of women. So, like, back to the whole communication thing, You cannot communicate someone out of like cheating on you or having empathy for the fact that they cheated or getting someone to communicate or getting your communication across so strongly that they will want to be an active parent. There is no such thing. If a man doesn't want to do it, they don't want to do it, and you just need to accept that. You need to accept that all of that communication, it's extra labor and it is draining your energy. It's draining your energy. Don't you get tired of repeating yourself over and over and over? Don't you get tired of coming home and it's another day, you come home from work and you see that your husband, he missed the laundry, he missed the laundry hamper again. It's another day and you came home, you woke up in the morning and you almost fell in the toilet because your husband didn't put the toilet seat down, and you've had to repeat for the 300th day in a row, honey, can you put the toilet seat down? Honey, can you put the toilet seat down? Like, you might as well just make a voice recording of all of the things that you would have to repeat to your husband and play it all day on a record, because you're constantly communicating. He doesn't care because you're still there. Men don't care about communication. They don't. Communication is not a threat to them. Communication means nothing to them, because men understand that for a lot of the time, women are not going to stand 10 toes down on what it is that they're saying. So men will they'll just do what it is. They just won't do what it is that they're saying that they're going to claim to do after you've communicated to them. This is why when women say, well, we talked about it and he told me, as soon as they say we talked about it and he told me, I'm just like, I'm shaking my head. I'm shaking my head and I'm judging silently in my head, because I already know how that's going to go. And I already know that it's not going to go nowhere. Well, he said that he's going to work on it. That's why they say talk is cheap. Talking and words have no value. They have no currency. It's actions. All women need is for a man to just say something. Men don't operate like that. Men are action based. Women care so much about communication that they've completely replaced communication with action. He's never going to do it no matter how many times you tell him to do it, because he hasn't fucking done it. He hasn't done it because he has no intention of doing it. And because you're still sitting here and you're still repeating it over and over, he already knows that you're not going anywhere, because you keep having the same talk over and over and over and over. Why do you need to have the same talk over and over when his behavior pattern he's still committed to being the same person? It's because you're still there. Communicating. The best form of communication is no communication. Take action. Point blank, period. Take action. Leave. If you feel overwhelmed with something, go on a hiatus and don't tell your husband. Just leave your husband at home with the children for a couple days. You're like, you want to know what? I'm tired. The kids are screaming. I'm getting no help. I'm cooking. I'm cleaning. I'm doing laundry. I'm exhausted. Say, you know what, honey? I'm going to leave. I got to go run to the store really quick, and just don't come back for a couple days. Cut your phone off and block him. And then come back when you feel like it and be like, you want to know what? I was exhausted. Don't even give him an explanation. Because that's another thing too. Jobs don't even require you to give an explanation as to why you called off of work. They don't. As long as you just let them know and notify them that you're not going to be at work legally, you don't have to give them a reason as to why you're not calling into work. If your job doesn't require a reason as to why you can't come into work, why do you feel as though you need to give an explanation as to why you're doing X, Y, Z? Like why you're leaving a relationship, why you're leaving a marriage, like why you don't want to be. There is no explanation required. The person knows what they're doing already. They know why you're reacting the way that you're reacting. This is why men are always saying the divorce came out of nowhere. The divorce came out of nowhere. Do you know how much of a slap in the face it would be as a woman to hear your husband say the divorce came out of nowhere? That would be a slap in the face to me. And you want to know why? That means that all of my labor of communicating to a person fell on deaf ears because they just didn't give a fuck about what it was that I was saying. That's the reason why it came out of nowhere. You wasted all of that energy and time communicating to a person that couldn't give a fuck less about what came out of your mouth. And and this is why they say women are always nagging. Men are the ones saying this. They're the ones saying that women are always nagging. Newsflash: the reason why they're saying that women are nagging is because you're communicating with them. They don't want you communicating with them. They don't want you talking to them about anything because guess what? They're not going to change anything just simply because you asked them to. They're not going to change anything simply because you communicated it to them. That's why they see you as nagging. Because why are you telling me for the 100th time to put down the toilet seat when my actions show I'm not putting down the toilet seat? So now you're nagging me to do something that I keep repeatedly showing you that I don't want to do and that I'm not going to do. Wouldn't that annoy you? Would that not annoy you if someone kept asking you to do the same thing over and over and over and you're not doing it and yet they still keep asking you to do it? When you're showing with your actions, I'm not doing it. That would annoy the fuck out of me. That would annoy the fuck out of me. Either you're gonna accept the fact that I'm not going to do it, or you're gonna remove yourself from the situation. But repeating it 1,000 times, it's not giving the energy like you think that it's giving. It's giving that you have no backbone. That's the reason why men get so annoyed and say that women are nagging because women won't take any action. They won't take any action. You won't give a man any consequence. All you just think that the communication is the consequence. So what incentive would men have to change their behavior when they get to act however they want to act and all they have to do is just deal with you nagging, but they get to do all of the fuck shit that they've been doing? Even with like friends, even with friends, people that I was friends with or people that have like wronged me, I'm only repeating myself one time. I'm only saying it once how you've wronged me. After I tell you that and then you do the same thing over and over, it's because that's who you are as a person and you're making a choice to make those decisions to do that despite me communicating it. So guess what? I'm either going to stay in the friendship and it's never going to get brought up again, or I'm just not going to be friends with that person anymore. It's really that simple. I'm not gonna repeat myself over and over and over to a person that clearly doesn't care about what it is that I have to say, because obviously they don't care. They're not trying to listen to anything that I'm trying to say. That's funny you say that. Once I started giving the same energy, this guy kept giving me all of a sudden I'm an asshole and mean. You really can't win. If a man's calling you mean and calling you an asshole, you should be happy. You should be happy. Mean an asshole means that they can't get one off on you. They can't manipulate you. They can't traumatize you. You should always be happy with a man saying that you're an asshole and you're mean. That means you did win. You don't want a man calling you nice. If a man is calling you nice and sweet and empathetic and understanding, that's because he's getting over on you. That's because he's using you. That's because he's abusing you. That's because he's doing things at your expense. You should always want a man to call you mean and call you an asshole. I love it when men call me mean. I love it when they say, "Oh my God, you're so mean and you're a witch and you're evil." I love it when they call me that. I'm like, thank God. Thank God. Y'all are so Yes. You're so mean. You're so evil. You're mean. You're so evil. You're a witch. Like, hallelujah. Hallelujah. Yep. Too smart, intimidating. Those are all compliments. Yeah, they get so mad. They're like, "Oh yeah, I have to insult you. I'm going to need to insult you because now I feel bad about myself because now I'm not getting the desired reaction that I want." She ghosted me. She didn't even tell me what I did wrong. And it's like, no, you know what you did wrong. And that's the energy that y'all got to come with. I don't do those explanations anymore. Oh, well, the reason why I'm not going to allow you to go out on a second date is because XYZ. No, leave them hanging. Leave them hanging. We're grown. Like that's the thing. We're grown. I am 33 years old. I'm never going to date someone younger than me. I'm not going to sit here and explain to a 33-year-old man as to why he couldn't get a second date with me. I'm not going to explain to someone 33 and up as to why they did not get a second date with me. It's a clear sign that you don't have empathy. It's a clear sign that you don't know how to read the room. It's a clear sign that you don't have any social skills. If a person has to explain to you why you didn't get a second date, you don't know how to read the room. I know from a job interview if I got the job or not. I know from a job, the person could have been so nice to me. The person could have complimented me and everything. And I've walked away from job interviews despite the person being nice, despite the person, asking all the questions that they need to ask. And I've left the job interview knowing that I didn't get the job, even when I didn't do anything wrong. It's called taking social cues. It's called understanding body language. It's called understanding all of the signs that are in front of you to be able to draw a good enough conclusion to say, you want to know what they didn't like me. You want to know what they did not. I literally had an interview a few months ago. It was this hospital in Virginia, and it was a Zoom. It was a Zoom call. So, of course, I have my camera on and they see me. And the first woman, of course, it was palm colored women. I love races of all people of all races, but it's 2026. Y'all know what time it is in America, at least. People are very braggadocious about how they feel about racism now because of the president. So obviously it's going to be really, really evident and apparent, and they're going to like put it in your face if they feel some type of way. And so this woman, this palm colored woman, she ends up answering like the Zoom call or whatever. And then I show up on the Zoom call. And essentially, she had said something along the lines of like, "Oh, I'm so glad that you cut your camera on." And she said it weird. She was like, "Oh, I'm so glad you cut your camera on." In a job interview setting, there would really be no need to say that, especially on a Zoom call. I've been on plenty of Zoom calls and no one has ever said that, "Oh, I'm so glad that you cut your camera on." Like, If we're doing a Zoom call, and we're doing an interview, you would do an interview in person and they would need to see your face. So it would make no sense for you to get on a Zoom call and not show your face, because you can't show to an in-person interview and not show your face. So I already knew right then and there, when she said that, she wasn't going to hire me. She just wasn't going to hire me. She didn't want a Black person working there. And the thing about it is that these men, especially, and even women, people in general, they try to make it seem as if you shouldn't use your critical thinking skills and that everything has to be explicitly said. We're grown adults with highly predictable behavior. People do not have to explicitly say to you, hey, I don't like Black people. And so because I don't like Black people, I'm not going to hire you. Most people are cowardice. Most people are not going to tell you explicitly that. They're not going to say, I don't like Black people, so I'm not going to hire you. Why? So they can get a lawsuit? Why would they ever tell you that? It's called reading the fucking room. So as soon as she said that, I was like, okay, I'm just going to coast through. I'm just going to coast through this interview because I already know I'm not going to get the fucking job. So I coasted through the interview. And then they decided, because there was another person, she was actually going to be my boss. She kept her camera off. Then there was another white woman who was in the Zoom meeting. She made no eye contact with me the whole entire Zoom meeting. So I got one with no camera on, one that has the camera on, not making any eye contact. And then the first one that's on the camera saying that, I'm glad you cut your camera on. 1 + 1 is always 2. 1 + 1 is always 2. Very evident what the fuck was going on there. So then the first lady, she asked the woman that doesn't have her camera on, oh, did you want to ask her like our questions? Did you want to ask her like these questions or whatever? And she's like, yeah, like, sure, I'll ask her these questions. I answered most of them right. But then, like, one of the questions, she tried to contort the answer that I gave into this like fucked up way to try to make it seem as if I was saying something different than her, when in reality I was saying the same thing. So it's like, you just need to have proof to try to say that I'm inadequate as you know, in my profession. So that way you can have something to be like, yeah, that's the reason why we're not going to like hire you or whatever. So I already knew from that interview, oh, I'm not getting the job. They didn't have to explain and say, oh, we're not going to hire you because you're Black or because we feel like your skill set isn't strong enough. I already knew that they weren't going to hire me. It's very, very simple. So when someone's over here saying, well, I didn't know and it's a clear sign. Number one, they don't want to take accountability for what they're doing, or number two, they just suck and have no social skills. They have no social cues. They don't have any empathy. They don't know how to read the room to be able to use context clues to say, oh yeah, the person didn't like me. Oh yeah, the person just wasn't interested in me. Point blank, period. So I don't really feel as though it's an excuse. I feel as though it's an excuse. And then like even like with this like pole dancing class that I took, like it was this one instructor. As soon as I met her, I didn't like her, and her energy was off. Like, she's saying all the words, she's communicating like how she's supposed to communicating. Hi, how are you? Hi, how was your day? But I feel like communication is like putting glitter on shit. You're covering up glitter and shit. It may be pretty, it may look good, but you still smell it. You still smell it despite you covering it up in glitter. So despite the fact that she was communicating with me, and despite the fact that she was doing all of the pleasantries and the niceties, her energy, I just felt her energy just not her energy. So ironically, I ended up getting sick. I ended up getting sick on a day I was supposed to go to class, and I was like, maybe that's the universe showing me something. And then I ended up feeling well again, and then I ended up going to the class, and I wanted to leave in the middle of the class. I'm like, I just feel weird being in this class, and my energy feels drained so easily. And I'm like, "Yeah, no." And I even told her, I said, "I feel like leaving, like, I don't feel good." And she's like, "No, don't leave. No, don't leave. I'm never gonna book a class with her again. I'm never ever taking another class of hers again because the energy is off. The energy is off." But I was like, "Dude, I'm about to leave right now. I'm about to leave right fucking now." I'm like, "I got 15 more minutes." I'm like, "Whatever. I'm just gonna." And then actually the last like 10 minutes, I didn't even really do anything for real. I honestly just played on my phone. I did. I just played on my phone. So I feel as though communication is definitely something used as a tool to make women go against their intuition. 1000%. I feel as though communication is used as a way to get women to dismiss their intuition. I need to focus on what it is that they're saying as opposed to what feeling I'm getting from this person. Yeah, it's the aura. I didn't use rollers. I used a little thermal wand. I used a thermal curler. But y'all know what I'm about to do. I'm gonna go get me some heatless curlers, and I'm just gonna start doing it heatless curl. I don't even think that I'm gonna even like wear that half wig if I'm being honest. I didn't try cornrowing my hair yet. I didn't try cornrowing my hair yet, but I got to get me some foam and some heatless curlers, and I think I'm just going to start doing that with my hair. Yeah, communication is an intuition killer because it's grooming you in teaching you to care more about the physical more than you care about the feeling that you get and the non-tangible feeling that you're getting from other people. Thank you, y'all. I've been misdisciplined. I've been misdisciplined. I've been waking up at the same time every day. I now have a clear schedule with my workouts, with everything. I have a clear schedule. Like I've been on my shit. Like I've been on my shit like literally since the middle of December. I've been on my shit and I said I showed y'all yesterday. I was like, y'all, my waist is shrinking. My waist is shrinking. I'm going to get some heatless curlers and some foam. And I'm just going to use heat protectant and blow dry my hair. And I'm just going to do heatless curlers and put them in at night and leave them in at night. And then just take them out and have like this voluminous hair. Cause I just feel so classic. I do. I feel so just classic and just so regal. I do. I feel so regal. And my silk pajamas. My silk pajamas. So yeah, I don't waste my time talking to folks anymore and communicating with folks anymore. The person knows what they did. Okay? Person knows what they did, and the person is hoping that you waste your time communicating with them because this is another thing too. This is another thing too. A lot of people are hoping that you do communicate with them because when you decide to communicate with someone, guess what you're doing? When you're communicating with somebody, you're giving them the opportunity to try to change your mind about the whole thing. I didn't mean it like that. You took it the wrong way. That didn't happen. When you cease communication after what someone does, you no longer give somebody the opportunity to try to spin it in a way to make you question how you feel or make you question what happened. or try to gaslight you to think differently about the situation. That's another thing. Because when someone is committed to accessing you, and when someone is committed to having you be in their presence, they're praying that you communicate with them. They're praying that you communicate with them because they want to be able to have the opportunity to spin a narrative in their favor, to make you question what experience it is that you're having. That's another reason why you should not be communicating after it's been very obvious that you've had a undesirable experience with somebody. No, no. Most of the time, that's what they're going to do. They're not going to take and this is another thing that people will do too. I remember my ex, he used to always say, like, I would say something and then say, but. He would say, once you say but, that negates everything you said before. A lot of this culture that we're in now, people will take accountability, but then they'll take accountability. And then after they quote unquote take accountability, they'll justify what it was that they did. And I kind of feel like the word but, that it's the same thing. They'll say, you want to know what? I was wrong, but the reason why I did it was okay. So then everything that you said before, but none of that counts. Like, I'm not listening to anything that you said before, but you just negated yourself. So that's another thing that you have to be mindful of. You will have people that will say the right things. I take accountability. I do take accountability for what it was that I said. And I did say the wrong thing. When they say however, but, or they say it, they end off with a sentence trying to justify what it is that they're doing, you might as well throw the whole accountability away. You might as well throw it away. That's not them actually being sorry. That's not them actually taking accountability. That is them using communication as a way to try to change your views and your feelings on them. So that way they can continue to have access to you. That's really what they're doing. Men want you bitching at them like their mom. I think it comforts them on some level, reassures them you care. It's because of vasopressin. It's because of vasopressin. Men get, I just looked it up. In arguing men, vasopressin is linked to increased physiological arousal, anger, and aggression, often leading to shutdown behaviors like stonewalling as a defense mechanism to cope with intense feelings and avoid escalating conflict. Vasopressin promotes territoriality and defensive aggression, and while it can facilitate pair bonding, like mate guarding, its activation in males during arguments can intensify feelings of threat, driving them inward or towards withdrawal rather than emotional connection, contrasting with oxytocin in women, even though they actually said females. And yet society will try to say that heterosexual relationships are normal. Because when women are arguing, women release oxytocin. So oxytocin causes more emotional distress. When women are arguing, it causes anger. It can cause fear. And bonding, because you release oxytocin when you're breastfeeding. Yeah, because the whole reason why men have vasopressin because they're supposed to be living amongst other men and other men only. Men have vasopressin because they're supposed to be competitive with other men. Men having vasopressin does not benefit women in any way. It harms women. There is no need for women and men to be in close proximity together when in an argument The man is sitting here releasing all vasopressin and getting super excited while he is arguing with somebody. I'm reading, sorry. I'm trying to make sure that I know what the fuck I'm talking about. Correct, inverse relationship. And then the thing about it is that they are selling this as pair bonding. So when I'm looking at articles of this, they're trying to sell the story that when an argument when a woman is releasing oxytocin because she's trying to have more empathy and understanding, and she's trying to get a sense of morality during the argument. Meanwhile, the man is releasing vasopressin, which is making him angry, which is making him territorial. This is a reason why you should not engage in arguments with men. You should not communicate with these men, because this is why it's so easy for men to place the blame on women when y'all are arguing, because your oxytocin is going to make it way easier for you to level with what it is that he's saying. And he's angry and he's just trying to get his way. He's just trying to have territory and dominance and control over the situation. And you're over here open to it because you're over here releasing oxytocin. And in a state of distress, women don't do well. They don't do well in those states of distress. Yeah, they say yes, women release oxytocin during stress, but it often serves to promote social bonding and nurturing. Tend and befriend rather than just fight or flight, helping them cope by seeking comfort, though it can also intensify negative social experiences. This release is often higher in women than men during stressful social situations. While it's known as the love hormone for its role in childbirth and bonding, oxytocin also acts as an anti stress hormone, reducing fear and promoting calm, especially in women, but its effects depend heavily on the context. I try my best not to use ChatGPT anymore. I've talked about it on other live streams, but I try not to use it because you want to know what I'm sick of? Y'all want to know what I'm sick of? I'm so sick of being on Google and you search something in Google and the first fucking thing that comes up is AI. It's the AI thing or whatever. It drives me crazy. I hate it. Like, I hate that I just read this shit and it was from AI, but because I'm on a live stream, I don't want to take 15 minutes to sort through a ton of things. But when I'm alone, I try to sort through the websites. I don't want AI telling me, I don't want AI to give me their little, thing or whatever. I want to keep using my brain. Yeah, like I want to use my brain. They're trying to get people to not use their brain. I know. Why would the government give us AI if it was good for us? Why would they make they're never making something easier for you for your own benefit. Never. Like, no, I will be using my brain. I will continue to be using my brain. I will continue to use my critical thinking skills. AI ain't finna have me out here stupid. Not at all. Not at all. Oh my god, did y'all see the live stream with Yunti, Tia, and Shira 7? They did it on Instagram and they did it on TikTok. I didn't watch the whole thing, but when I saw that they got together, I was like, "Oh my god, this is a great start to the year." Cuz I love me some Yunti Tia. I love me some Yunti Tia. When I saw them collaborate, I was like, "This is the collaboration. This is the collaboration that we needed to kick off 2026." They made movies about AI destroying the planet and still forging in that direction. Yes, girl. It's in all the movies. It is. It's in all of the movies. They're on the plan, man. They're on the mission to fuck us up. They are on a mission to fuck us up. I didn't eat anything post workout. Hold on. I got to get me my chips and my hummus and my water. See y'all, I'm shrinking. These are my pants. I have on a robe. Hold on. I have on a robe with the robe tucked in. I didn't feel like putting on the top. But y'all, my waist is getting invisible, y'all. Before y'all know it, I'm gonna be like, hey y'all. Hi everyone. I'm gonna be floating. I'm gonna be floating. I'm letting him know. I'm letting him know he DL and his family. I'm hollering. That is too funny. Thank you. Y'all are too sweet. Y'all are too sweet. I had made some Marry Me soup, and for it, I needed some sun dried tomatoes. And so I have this like very plain garlic hummus. And so I've been taking the sun dried tomatoes and I've been putting to eat with my hummus. It kind of reminds me of the roasted red pepper hummus. Aw, I love y'all too. Y'all are so sweet. Y'all are so sweet. Once I'm done with the live stream, I'm gonna make a salad. I do a salad with salmon, spring mix, raspberry vinaigrette, and then feta cheese. Fire. Fire. Thank me later. Salmon, raspberry vinaigrette, spring mix, feta. Very good. Super. It's like the savory and the sweet and the tanginess. Thank you, Jacqueline. Appreciate you. Mm-hmm. How do you commit to staying fit? I love to chill, but I want my body to. So in the year 2026, so I talked about this on my spiritual channel. I don't post on my spiritual channel anymore, but the content is still up. Queen the Mystic. In order to become a version of yourself that you want to become, you have to start doing the actions now to become that person. So what I did at the beginning of the year, I visualized the person in like how the person dresses, how the person talks, the health choices that the person makes, everything. And then I named the person. I named her. So it's like they have like the what would Jesus do? It's kind of like that in a sense. What would this future version of yourself do? So when I make these decisions in regards to like me eating and being fit and like staying committed to being fit, I make those decisions as if that person is making those decisions. So it's like, I don't know, let's just say that the person that you want to become, I don't know what her name will be. I don't know. But like let's just say the version of you, like her body is T, right? The version of her is her body is T. So you would have to ask yourself like, would so and so buy cookies and leave them in the house? Would so and so like eat a whole pizza? And it's like, no, like so and so would get like a nutritious meal or like, eat some eggs instead of some, cookies or something. So now that I do that, everything is a lot easier and it makes it easier for me to just be on the frequency of the person that I want to become. Because that's the thing. In order for you to get something that you don't have, you have to do something that you're currently not doing. That's how it works. You have to sacrifice something. Mhm. Like honestly this week, y'all, I'm so proud of myself. I'm so proud of myself because I actually got over a major fear today. So, if you're new here, And you didn't know, I used to do bodybuilding. And I used to be right there, right at the rack of weights, right doing my pull-ups, everything. I was literally in the war zone with the men in the gym. And I've been having a lot of like issues with like body dysmorphia and my like sense of validation in regards to my body, because it's just something that I've really struggled with for my whole entire life. And so, and also making this content too, it really did make me like kind of shell up, and it kind of made me afraid to take up space. And so there are a lot of things that I'm trying to work on, especially in regards to like my mobility, my flexibility, tumbling and gymnastics and things like this. So my gym does have like a women's only area, and I started working out in that, area or whatever, but like we have a Smith machine, we don't have a squat rack. And like our free weight area is very small and the turf is very small. And so I'm like, I can't really get a lot of like flexibility and like my handstands and my bridges and stuff like that. I can't really get anything done in this small space that I have. So I was like, bitch, you're gonna have to get comfortable taking up space again in the gym. You're just gonna have to. You're gonna get your ass out there and you're gonna go out on the turf. And my little alter ego, like my alter ego doesn't care about taking up space. She doesn't care about taking up space. So I was like, all right, we're going to channel my alter ego today that doesn't care about taking up space. So yesterday I did like my splits, I did all my flexibility stuff. I did my back bends and I did my back walkovers. I did TikToks. And then today I did the same thing. And then today I was able to do a front walkover. So like all of my back flexibility is like back. So it was nice. I was able to like actually like take up space. And then I actually like squatted today. I squatted last week, but I didn't do all the flexibility stuff out in the open. And then I also did like pull-ups and I like did them out in the open or whatever. So yeah, I decided, I was like, no, I'm going to take up space again in the gym. I am. I'm not going to shell myself up. I'm not going to shell myself up because I don't want to be visible. So that felt really good to do. And if y'all are trying to get y'all body right, y'all better start now. If you start now, baby, you're going to be tea by the time summer gets here. People be waiting until May. People be waiting until May, April, May to try to get their body in order. And as someone that did bodybuilding, people really underestimate how long it takes to lose weight. Unless you're morbidly obese, you're not losing 20 pounds in a month, honey. You're not. You shouldn't be losing no more than a pound a week anyway, unless you're very overweight. Then you're gonna lose weight at a rate like a quicker to start with. But baby, you're not losing 20 pounds in a month. That's just not gonna work. It's not gonna work. And I do intermittent fasting. I do intermittent fasting. So I only have I give myself an 8-hour. I do 16-8. So I do 16 hours off, 8 hours on. I do intermittent fasting. And intermittent fasting was always my go-to before I did bodybuilding. My body does best when it's not trying to work to digest food. And in bodybuilding, they want you to do 6 small meals a day. I didn't like that. I didn't like the 6 small meals a day. I like intermittent fasting. So I've had to also program myself to get out of like bodybuilding culture and like get back to what works for me. Oh yeah, in Miami, you gotta be fit. And then I've been doing my move with Nicole Pilates here on YouTube. Check her out. She has really good Pilates, mat Pilates stuff. I'm almost done snacking. I promise. I went to Miami and all the people look so good there. It's crazy. Yeah, it's a lifestyle. It's a lifestyle. I feel so much better. Mm-hmm. Sorry, y'all. I just had to breathe. Also, I can't remember which one of you recommended this for me to start drinking my water out of, but if you're watching this or if you are end up watching on the replay, I want to say thank you. Someone recommended this iron flask. This is not promo or anything. I bought this with my real money, but someone recommended that I get the iron flask for my water because I was having an issue with the plastic water bottle that I had. And I must say, I'm very happy with my iron flask. So, to whoever you are that recommended that, I want to say thank you. I started going to hot Pilates about a month ago and I love it, but I'm going to incorporate weightlifting because I want to be toned and only do Pilates 3 times a month. Please lift weights. You're at your maximum like muscle density when you're 30 years old. And so after 30 years old, it's going to decline little by little. They claim that iron flasks are better. I mean, it is metal. It is metal. Because I know Stanley Cups, they have like that lead thing at the bottom, but this doesn't. This don't got none of that. And I'm freezing too. I am. I'm freezing. Let me cut. It's cold here in the Midwest. It's gonna get colder too. It is. It's gonna get colder too. Hold on. Oh, and you all want to know another thing that I do? I use Jocelyn Hernandez. I use Jocelyn Hernandez for my affirmations, for my body affirmations. When she's like, my stomach is flat, my ass is fat. I say that to myself. The future version of myself. I say my stomach is flat, my ass is fat, my pockets are fat. Thank you. Let me see if I can find it. Is this it? Oh yeah, she says my titties are fat. I forgot to add that one, but I already have fat titties, so and I don't really care if I have fat titties anymore if I lose weight. I care about my stomach being flat and my ass being fat. That's what I care about. So, I don't need that one. I say my pockets is fat. I say my stomach is flat, my ass is fat, my pockets are fat. She may say the money thing too. Let me share the screen. Turn it up all the way.
My booty is fat, my titties are fat, my stomach is flat, and I'm the baddest bitch. And bitches don't hate. Get with the motherfucking program.
Yep. Yep. So that's those are my affirmations there. That clip. I just add that my pockets are fat part too. But yeah, that's what I tell myself every day. That's what I tell myself every day. Yeah, get with the motherfucking program. Yep. You can add that part in too. You can add that part in too for a little bit of motivation if need be. You can add that. So I like to tell myself that daily. I just walk around. I just walk around with that energy. Because you got to be you already have to have the energy of the person that you want to be, because you can only attain something at the same frequency that you vibrate at. If you vibrate any lower than the thing it is that you're trying to attain, you're not going to attain that thing. It's not going to happen. So that's important. That's important. This is why I don't communicate with people that are below, that I know are below me. This is why I don't communicate with people that are beneath me. And this is also, so you want to know what? You want to know what else I want to motherfucking talk about communication? Bragging. So there's someone that I was kind of like at odds with in regards to how we view being vocal about your accomplishments versus not being vocal about your accomplishments. And like, I think that the person really did take it as like a diss after I had like said this. So let me know what you think. So this person is like the type of person where like they're going to tell you, I make a lot of money. They're going to tell you everything that they got going on, you know? And me personally, I don't have a problem with that. I don't care about like, I don't feel some way about hearing another woman win. I am always going to be supportive of hearing women win. I want to see women win, and I love to hear about women winning. Me personally, I do not communicate my wins. I don't necessarily like getting a form of validation from people by telling them, "Oh, I have money," or "I have this," or "I have that." And the reason being is because through life experience, I look at it like this. I look at it the same way as men saying, "I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy. Just trust me. I'm a nice guy. Just trust me." In my opinion, it lowers your validity when you have to constantly tell people what you got going on. And that is something that I had to learn. And it's like, I've said before, like Bill Gates doesn't have to come up to people and tell people that he's a billionaire. Everyone knows that Bill Gates is a billionaire. And so I've had to understand that when people meet me, when people look at me, no one thinks I'm poor. When people talk to me, no one thinks I'm stupid. When people get to know me, they don't think that I'm not talented. So I already have the validation within myself, which is going to portray outwardly, and it's going to project outwardly that, baby, it's in the delivery. It's in the delivery already. So the way I look at it is that, like, I don't need to tell my wins. I don't need to say anything because, baby, you see it. You already see it. And I don't need to try to get it across to people and try to explain to someone, I got it. I got it. I'm accomplished. I'm accomplished. I'm smart. I don't need to do that because it's all there. It's all there. People already can just know that. And so this person, like, I could tell that this person did not like the fact that I said that. Because I pretty much told the person that. I said, baby, my aura, my energy, my vibration, people know. Okay, people know that I got good shit going on. People know that I'm smart. People know that I'm talented. And this person did not. I don't really think that they were vibing with my lack of feeling like it was something that I needed to communicate every time that I had a win. And like I said before, me personally, I support women for like saying that they have like a win, but I really do feel as though for me personally, I just believe more so in being strategic, and I believe more in gatekeeping like certain type of information. I even told her, I said, listen, I won't wear my finest jewelry in the hood, but I will wear my finest jewelry in a nice part of town. So I will share my wins with other people that are winning. I will share my wins with people that I can see that they have proved that they're committed to self improvement. And I will share my wins with people who I feel confident in the fact that they're not in competition with me. But that's far few and in between. So in most cases, I'm not going to share my wins with people because most cases people don't really want to see other people win because they're not winning themselves. And so, I'm pro autonomy. Like, if a woman wants to brag and tell everyone what she got going on, cool. If a woman wants to be more strategic and decide, I'll tell certain people or I'll tell people when I feel more comfortable, cool. If you want to be full on mysterious and private and you don't want to tell people a goddamn thing, I'm cool with that too. But I kind of felt like this person, they just had like I kind of feel like the individual kind of had this take where it's like, if you're not bragging and if you're not telling everyone what it is that you're accomplishing, you're playing yourself down as a woman. And although I do understand that sentiment, I understand where it's coming from. The thing about human nature is that, like, most people just don't want to see you win. And I kind of feel like as you get older and you start understanding human nature and you understand that you have things to protect, you're going to start moving as such. You're going to start realizing that I have things to protect, that I don't want to just willy-nilly tell everybody what it is that I got going on, and this is something that I've had to learn from my parents. Like, this is something that I've had to learn from my father and my mother. My father is very successful, and my father is not braggadocious about what he has going on because he's like, exactly, I don't want to put a target on my back. There are a lot of people who they don't even make it out alive because the people in their hometown see their success and like they end up killing the person. You know what I mean? They'll share wins with someone that they think is their friend, and then whole time the person is congratulating them, but really whole time they're like, I don't want to see you succeeding. I don't want to see you doing better than me. And then they'll sabotage you. So, but yeah, I just kind of feel like the person, they didn't agree with what it was that I had to say. And I kind of feel like they they just didn't understand why I thought that way. And it's like, it's no diss. It's just me personally. I'm just the more strategic. Exactly. The more you stay silent about yourself, watch how much you flourish. 1,000%. 1,000%. Once I started gatekeeping myself and gatekeeping my moves, I was able to flourish and ascend even more. And a lot of it has to do with not being self-validated. And I think that's why the person got upset with me, because I think them knowing my outlook on the whole thing, I think it put a mirror up to how they view validation, and they probably realized, like, damn, like I'm not there yet when it comes to being self-validated. I'm at the point in my journey where I'm self-validated. I don't really need to tell people. I don't really need to tell people anymore, like what I got going on or what I'm accomplishing and things like that. I'm at the point in life where I don't feel the need to do it. But then people will hear you say that, and then guess what they'll say? She thinks she's better than everybody. She thinks she's too good. She thinks that she's better than everyone, and because she's not telling anyone what it is that she's doing. And it's like, that's not it at all. It's just a preference. I just prefer to gatekeep. And the thing about it is that I've been on the other side of that. I've been on the other side of looking at someone sideways because they're like, no, like I don't want to share that information. I'm not ready to share that information. I remember feeling the same way that this person is feeling. And this is how I know that I'm growing. This is how I know that I'm growing as a person, because if you're truly paying attention to the lessons that people send you in life, and you're learning the lessons from the people that come into your life, everything should come full circle. Everything should come full circle. So now in dealing with this person, I know exactly what it is that they're thinking, because that used to be a version of my past self. That used to be the version of my past self that didn't understand why people would be so private, and why people would want to gatekeep information, and why people would want to be strategic. Now I understand why. But because they don't understand why, they think that it is something probably wrong with me, or that I may have like a superiority complex. But now with me having the life experience, I understand where that past person was coming from as to why they thought the way that they thought. What things help someone build that validation muscle? By doing the things that you said that you're going to do. By doing the things that you said that you are going to do. If you want to lose weight, you have to give yourself all the steps to lose weight. So if your first step is, I'm going to prep my meals 3 days out of the week. If you do not prep your meals 3 days out of the week, you're not validating yourself. And so what you'll do is, because you don't know how to build up your own confidence, you cannot give yourself self-confirming validation. You will look for it elsewhere, because you are not capable of keeping the promises that you make to yourself. Validation, when you're seeking validation, it is a response that you have by repeatedly failing keeping the promises to yourself. So then, because you don't want to sit with that and deal with that, you will look for it elsewhere. That's how you build confidence. Confidence is built through keeping the promises that you make to yourself. That is how you build confidence. The lip combo is this Fenty Stunna Paint, and then Faux by MAC in the center. I don't really watch much with the Beckhams, but I do know that they were having like beef with the son or whatever. But I don't know so much about them. Stay ready so you never have to get ready. I'm always hyping myself up. Yeah. As long as you keep the promises to yourself, you'll never have to worry about needing validation from people. Point blank, period. You'll never have to worry about needing validation from people once you know how to keep the promises to yourself. Do that and you're good. You're good. You will not need validation from other people. Like, I keep the promise. I've been keeping the promise to myself where I'm like, I'm going to do my makeup. I'm going to do my hair. I'm going to look pretty. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to like put more into myself and pour more into myself and like have fun with like all this makeup and stuff that I have, you know? And another thing too is that like we live in a society where we prioritize convenience so much that people shame you for inconveniencing yourself. Why do you get up so early for work to put on makeup? Why do you spend so much time at the gym? Why do you spend so much time going grocery shopping and making your meals when you could just get DoorDash or you could just get Uber Eats? We live in a world that is committed to prioritizing convenience, that when you actually do want to practice discipline, people are actually insulted by you using discipline. Because we live in a world now where people are building community through convenience. How lazy can we be? How easy can we make our life? And although there's nothing wrong with that, is you giving yourself an easy life getting closer to your goals? Is you having the food delivered to you, is that getting you closer to your weight loss goal? You know, is that getting you closer to the time management goal that you're trying to have to make sure that you can get your projects done or get your side hustle started or things like that, you know? People go through way too much. I live my life for me, operate the way I need to make me grow in myself journey. No bunk beds and graves. I came in world alone, leaving the world. Facts. That's definitely a word. That's definitely a word. So true. But the best part is the discipline eventually becomes a part of your routine. 1,000%. Once you start practicing the discipline, that's the thing. Like, people don't ever want to give themselves to allow the muscle to grow. And when I say muscle, I mean mental muscle. I mean mental muscle. People will want to give up simply because it's too hard. And it's like, you haven't given yourself enough opportunity to strengthen the muscle to make it get easier. You're stopping already because it's hard. You're doing something that you don't normally do. It's going to be hard. You're over here eating healthy and you've been having a diet of ho-hos and cupcakes and Takis. So of course it's going to be hard for you to eat the chicken breast and the steak and the salmon and the white rice and the vegetables because you've been having a diet of processed food. So it's going to be hard. It's going to be annoying. You're not going to like eating the food that you're eating. Of course it's going to be hard to go to the gym and get on the treadmill. You're sitting all day. Of course it's going to be hard. And I don't even believe that people don't have enough time for themselves. I mean, unless you got a ton of kids, okay? I would say more often than not, people don't make enough time for themselves in most cases. Most people have little bitty pockets where they can make some shit shake. I'm sorry. Most people have some tiny pockets where they can make some shit shake. I'm sure if people looked at their screen time on their phone, I'm sure people's minimum screen time is like 3 hours a day on their phone. You could easily be doing something in those 3 hours of scrolling on your phone. That's enough for you to go to the gym. That's enough for you to start on some project. And that's enough time for you to get some cleaning done. I think a lot of people believe that they don't have a lot of time because they're using their time to distract themselves from doing the things that they don't want to do. And then writing it off as saying that I don't have enough time. Like I said, unless you got umpteen kids, you have time. That's so true. I used to find so many excuses, but I love how good I feel when I do things for yourself. Yeah. Most people are just making a ton of decisions out of avoiding doing the thing that they don't want to do and then saying that they're too busy. Trust me. I think the average screen time for people is like 4 to 5 hours. The screen time is high for people, for most average people. You have the time. You can wake up earlier. You can go to sleep a little bit later. I wake up at 5 o'clock every morning, whether I'm at work or not, and I get so much done. I'm usually up by 5, sleep by 8:30 or by 9. Yesterday I was ultra tired, so I think I ended up going to sleep at around 8:30. I'm glad y'all are liking the makeup, and I'm glad that y'all are liking the hair. I'm like, you want to know what? Let me look cute. Let me look cute. And that was another thing too. I was like, bitch, get your time management together. You've been coming on the live stream looking like who shot John and forgot to kill him. But the past month has been like a kind of like a hard transition because, as you all know, like I went back to work and I moved and then my schedule was all wonky and then I got sick. Like it took a little while for me to get like back on course. So now that I've course corrected, I'm like, okay, bitch, it's time to lock in. It's time to lock in and get cute and do what the F you're supposed to be doing. So there we go. I'm doing what the F I'm supposed to be doing. I'm keeping the promises to myself. Now that I got my time management done together and like all of that stuff. I love me some makeup. I have known how to do makeup since I was in the 6th grade. Um, and I started like learning from YouTube tutorials back in like 2010. Like I remember I would look at Jackie Aina, I would look at Makeup by Lena Baby. I had really liked her. Um Mia Pham, I would follow and look at her stuff. Love Heart, I would follow her stuff. So I would all and so we my mom would always take me to the MAC counter. And I don't know if MAC still does it, but whenever MAC would have a new collection, you would get your makeup done for free if you bought $50 worth of product. And then they would do your makeup look from the new collection. So every like 2 weeks or once a month, my mom would take me. She'd take me get my nails, she'd take me get my nails done, my hair done, and get my makeup done. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you, Anon. Appreciate you. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So yeah, she would take me to get all of that stuff done. And yeah, it was just something that for the most part, like I just kept up with as far as like knowing how to like do my makeup and stuff like that. It was just something that I kept up with. So I kept doing it. This is why, like, when women, oh, I can't stand it when women are like, I don't have to wear a face full of makeup. I don't have to either. Like, the base of my skin, the base of my skin is good. Like, I'm fine. Like, I'm not out here, I'm not out here with a face looking crazy. I feel like when women are like, well, I don't have to wear makeup. I feel like they just say that because they don't know how to put the shit on. And like they don't want to learn how to put it on because makeup is a skill. It's a skill. Like you're not just waking up throwing a ton of shit on your face. Like you got to do the color match. You got to know if you're neutral, if you're cool, if you're warm. You know what I'm saying? You have to know what type of eye shape that you have, what type of face shape you have. That way you know your blush placement. You got to know what products to use, you know, if something's going to break you out or not. I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot to be able to do. That's why when you know how to do makeup, it's an MUA, makeup artistry. Because it's art. It's just a cool way to be creative. Like today I wanted to wear red lips, so I'm like, you want to know what? I'm going to do red lips and I'm going to do a little pink. I'm going to do a little pink on the inside. A little red to pink ombre lip. Cuz I don't use Faux by MAC a lot. I don't use this color often. And I really only like this color with red. I don't really like it with any other color. Maybe like a purple color. Like maybe if I use like Night Moth. Maybe if I use Night Moth in Faux by MAC, it will look good. Exactly. It's for you before anyone else. Makeup can either make someone insecure or enhance themselves. Exactly. And a lot of the times, if you're putting on makeup and it's making you insecure, it's just because you're not putting it on right. Like it's just because you just don't understand what you're doing yet. You know what I mean? I don't even think I have a favorite. I don't even think I have a favorite lipstick by MAC. Wouldn't blue look good? It's the opposite color. Should work in theory. You mean like blue with red? Is that what you're saying? Because the thing about it, to change red lipstick, blue is the color that they add. So, like, if they want to make the color more cool, then they tend to add blue to red. They tend to add blue to red lipstick if you want your red lipstick to be a little bit more cool. So, if I wanted to cool the color down, yeah, I could add blue. I don't do one-on-one coaching sessions. Um, for multiple reasons. I don't do them. I think if I were to return with like some type of service like that, it would have to be like a full-on mentorship. Like it would have to be like a full-on mentorship where like I am like on you for like an extended amount of time for like 6 weeks and we can like work with each other at length. So like I would only take a few people. Like I would only take like 5 or 6 people for something like that as opposed to one-on-ones because as much as I love one-on-ones, I feel as though most of like the one-on-ones, most of the time, if it's a problem that's really easy that can be solved. But as far as like self-improvement and self-mastery, it's an investment. It's an investment that you have to make when like it's like getting a therapist, right? Like getting a therapist is an investment. Getting a personal trainer is an investment, right? And so I feel like when you like want to be on the journey, like there are a lot of like people that like they get a mentor, they hire a mentor, they hire like a coach and stuff like that. So I feel as though like if I ever were to come back, I would do something like that. It would be very, very detailed, and I would only work with a few people. That way, working with someone, we can really get down to the bottom of everything, and like we have enough time, and we're meeting each other regularly, and things like that. What do you think about sister locks? I want a style that promotes my hair texture and is beautiful. I love sister locks. There are plenty of women that I know that have sister locks. I think they're beautiful. Um, the iron flask is just simply because it's metal, and I don't think that there's anything like dangerous in it as opposed to the hydro flask. Um, I just think it's better. I think it's just better for you to drink out of. Yeah, they don't contain lead. They're BPA free and they don't contain lead because the Stanleys have lead in them. So that's the reason why I do not get Stanley Cups, because they have lead in them. They say they don't like makeup, but their Sims always be exactly. Oh, it's because somebody asked about this water. It's because someone asked about the iron flask, the water bottle that I talked about earlier in the stream. And I said, someone asked about it, and I said, this doesn't have lead in it. This doesn't have lead in it. It doesn't have lead or BPA. I'm really picky about that type of stuff. So like my Tupperware is glass. I only eat out of glass Tupperware. I try my hardest to avoid using the microwave. Like I try really, really hard to avoid using the microwave. I'll either use the air fryer or I'll cook it stovetop. Yeah. It's just they pump so much shit in our food and in our products and in our makeup and all of this stuff. I just try to take as many small precautions as I can. So like I do fluoride-free toothpaste. I drink spring water. I wouldn't say I'm crazy, but I just do like small things, and I just kind of do as much research as I can just to make sure that the things that I'm repeatedly using, that like I have to drink water every day. I have to eat out of something every day. I got to drink out of something every day. So I try my hardest to make sure that those things that I'm doing, I got to brush my teeth every day. So I try to just make sure that the things that I have to do every day, whatever method that I'm using that requires daily use, I'm just trying my best to make sure that I'm mitigating whatever risk would be associated to doing that thing. Because it's like, I love perfume. I'm never giving up perfume. Perfume can have stuff in it, and like it can potentially like cause stuff with your hormones. And then makeup supposedly can too. I'm never giving up makeup, and I'm never giving up perfume. So I figure, well, I'll just make up for all the other shit, because yeah, like I'm not gonna sit here and give up things that bring me joy just because I want to save 3 years of my life. Like, I don't have a favorite perfume. I do a rotation of fragrances based off of the weather. So I have Killian Love Don't Be Shy, Killian Angel Share, Burberry Goddess, and then Queen of Silk by Creed. That's in my rotation. Did you have a mentor in your self-development journey? Just my therapist. Just my therapist. Me, naturally, I've just always been a self-led person. I've always been a self-led person, and I've just always been a person that has like been good with leadership. Excuse me. And so that's always been a very like clear identifiable trait in myself. So because I've already known that I possess a decent amount of leadership, I've always just trusted the fact that I've been able to be self-led. And when I would like have mentors and stuff like that, or I would try mentors, they would tell me stuff that I already knew. And so essentially I was like, I have the knowledge already. So like this is another reason why I'm almost done reading The Gift of Fear, but like I think Gift of Fear will probably be my last self-help book that I read for a while, because most of the stuff in that book I already knew. Your energy is firm. Thank you. For me, that's a compliment. I it just also might be the Capricorn in me, but like I like to have like very like clear, direct energy, and I just want to kind of be read right away and just receive that way right away. That way, there's no questioning based off of who I am as a person or how it is that I present. And I don't ever try to make myself be palatable for people. It just weeds out a lot of people that don't need to be in my energy. And so I don't try to go out of my way to make the space feel quote unquote comfortable for people by trying to like not come off with such an edge or try to not come off firm, because I just want the people in my energy, and I just want the people here that just truly want to be here because they just like the energy that I have, because this is just who I am. Like, this is just how it's always been for me, you know? I'm loving living in the mountains, focusing on learning natural ways, got my own apples and apricots. Oh, that's amazing. Nice. And learning permaculture, that's awesome. It makes you spiritually gifted in yourself. Absolutely. And it just gives you so much self-trust when you just learn to not bend to when you learn to not bend to the will of other people. It gives you a level of self-trust that is going to have you ascend on such a strong level, but it's also going to make people feel wildly uncomfortable. Like, people do not like it when you're self-validated. People do not like it when you're self-led. A lot of people hate it. A lot of people can't wrap their head around, like, why people will make certain decisions that would, like, make their life harder, or make decisions that'll make them have to work on their muscle of, like, adaptability. A lot of people just can't wrap their head around that. And I feel as though it's one of those things where once you get there as a woman, you'll understand. You'll be like, oh, this is how it feels to not need validation. This is how it feels to not need to hear the opinion of what another person says. Or you just make a decision without communicating it. That's another thing with communication. Not feeling the need to communicate your problems to other people is powerful. It's powerful. It is very, very powerful. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of, like, frustration that you'll get at first with doing that because you want to get it all out, but you can get it out in other ways. You could just speak it out loud. You could write it down in a journal. You could talk about it with your therapist. But another thing with communication is, like, when you're self-led, over time you will realize that you don't even need to communicate your problems with other people to a third party. Like, you won't even need to come up to someone and say, hey, was I tripping, such and such happened, was I tripping, like, am I the asshole on Reddit type of thing. You'll find yourself feeling the need to do that less, because you're like, I know the experience, I know what happened, I know how it made me feel, and I know I'm not fucking crazy. Always knew everyone was flawed in some way, so flawed people's thoughts are a non-factor in my life. Exactly. And at the end of the day, people are gonna see it how they want to see it, regardless. Does it matter if you have a male therapist or female therapist? Me personally, I feel as though your therapist should be the same gender and they should be the same race as you. Because once you have problems, you need to be able to have a person that can relate to your problems. Like, I'm sorry, a male therapist, in most cases, everything that is taught in the world is taught through a misogynistic lens. Medicine is taught through misogyny. Psychology is taught through misogyny. Sociology can be taught through the lens of misogyny, which is why we have to have sociology to be able to understand things like patriarchal conditioning, because patriarchy is a social construct that was created. So I feel as though if you do get someone that is not the same race and that's not the same gender, that's cool. But I feel as though you're going to have to do a lot more explaining if you do get someone that isn't the same race and that isn't the same gender as you. Like, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna hire a white man as a therapist. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna hire a white man as a therapist. Like, you have women on the internet who are white, who was married to their white husband, and even they're complaining about how their white husband has no empathy towards happening with ICE. So if I sit here and say, hey, I feel as though I might have some racial discrimination, and I talk to my therapist about this, and he's a white man, do you not know how much explaining I'm going to have to get him to understand, and that there might be a chance that he may never have the sense of empathy or understanding because it's not his lived experience? Most people can only gain empathy through having a lived experience, especially men. especially men. Most men have to have the lived experience for them to actually be able to get what it is that you're talking about. So, of course, there's nothing true all of the time. I hate that argument. And if you unfollow me or if you're not following me, you can unfollow me. But I'm just keeping it real. You are really showing your lack of intellect when you say things like, this isn't true all of the time. Not all men. You're showing that you don't have any intellect because there is nothing in life that happens 100% of the time. Nothing in life happens in a vacuum. So there is nothing in life that you'll ever be able to name that all would apply. Nothing in life applies to all. So the fact that you're saying that, it shows that you don't have a high level of intellect. You're clinging on to the exception because you want to feel more better about the harsh reality of life that you don't want to sit with. So it makes you feel better to say, well, not all, and they're not all like that. Like, no, the reality is the way that it is. It's just easier for you to deal with a person that in most cases has the most lived experiences like you do. It's just common sense. Yes. I agree. Me personally, I mean, I would never have a male therapist. Never. I would never have a male therapist. I don't really like to have men for anything servicing me. If I had to be completely honest. I tell you what, I've about had it with all the liars. Just rather not spend my time with those who want to tell me what my vision is. Have an idea what I want to do exactly. Exactly. That's the reason why I don't tell anybody anything, and people get upset about it. People get upset about it, but it's like usually what happens is when you do tell people about like what it is that you got going on, they're going to project their fears onto you. I seen a video on TikTok not too long ago, and she was saying how she had told people that she was going on a solo trip outside of the country, and then people were like, but what about the robberies, and what about this, and what about that? And someone stitched the video talking about um I don't remember the word, but there actually is a word, like there's like a sociology term as to why people do that, why they project their fears onto other people. And it's essentially out of the guise of like, it's under the guise of like the community like group think that we have when it comes to our reptilian brain. So they have to project their fears onto you to give them a sense of comfort to keep you within the community, is essentially what it is. I cannot remember the name. I cannot remember what it actually is, but that's the reason why they're doing that. Yeah, exactly. Even so, I've been watching, listen, me watching Takedown with Chris Hansen, the same guy that used to do To Catch a Predator. I've been watching them Takedown episodes. And once again, this watching that show, it's making me give the side eye to men that involve themselves with jobs that deal with children, like teachers and stuff like that. A lot of these men who they're catching on that show Takedown, when they're catching these men having sexually charged, as Chris Hansen would say, sexually charged conversations with children, these men work at Disney. These men are teachers. These men are janitors. Like a lot of these men work with children, and they're simultaneously being caught offering to pay to have sex with a child. So that show got me side eyeing these male teachers. That show got me side eyeing these janitors. Honestly, this show got me side eyeing these men that are in fields that deal primarily with children. I'm not even gonna lie. It's making me question as to why they got into that field. And the thing about it is that it's natural to feel worry whenever someone is doing something out of the norm because your body is conditioned for safety. So your body is always going to resist putting yourself in fear, or when you're hearing about a person potentially putting themselves in fear, because our body is conditioned for safety. So when we do something that is outside the realm of what we normally do, or we hear somebody do something that is outside the realm of our safety, naturally we're going to project that onto the other person. I don't take it personally. I don't think when people make those comments, it's like, oh, screw you. Like, you don't want me to travel, or you don't want me to do anything like that. I don't take it in anything as that, but I'm, in my opinion, I'm like, okay, this is human nature at work. This is human nature at work. Some things in life, you really do have to attribute them to the fact that it's human nature. There really are some things that you have to chalk it up to the fact that this is just how humans are. You know what I mean? This is just the first thing that they're going to go to. So I don't take it personally anymore when people like project their fears and stuff onto me. I'm like, it's the reptilian brain. It's just the reptilian brain trying to keep them safe. Yes, take your ideas. This is why I don't tell nobody anything. I don't like, there was this one girl that I was talking to. She ended up dealing with this Dusty, this ex-military man. And essentially, this is another thing. When a man is constantly the victim, when a man constantly has a sob story, he does not have good intentions. That's very important. When a man is communicating through a sob story, when a man is communicating through being on hard times, he is trying to get over on you. Point blank, period. No man that actually has his stuff together would ever want to present himself as struggling. That's important to keep in mind. So anyway, she was dealing with this ex-military dude, this straight up Dusty, had this guy living with her, and he presents her with this sob story. He presents her with all of these things going wrong. And so essentially she was like, wow, you've been through so much, you should write a book. Why did they break up? And she's like, oh yeah, like I found out that like he wrote the book, and like he was talking about me in one of the chapters. And I'm like, she's like, he didn't even give me any credit for the book. I'm like, all that for a Dusty. All that for a Dusty. Girl, humanity has been dying. We're just calling the shit out. We're just calling it out. That's the difference. We're just calling it out now. Humanity's been fucked up. I'm going to buy the book. I'm going to buy the book because I already read a book by Gabor Mate, but something came up on my feed. Listen to this. Okay, so this woman is talking about this book written by Gabor Mate. Cannot remember the name of the book, but essentially he's talking about human nature. And so he says that when you have a child, he believes that the way that we raise babies is the reason why humanity is the way that it is now. And I 1000% agree. And one of the reasons that he gave was the example of how we deal with children that are crying, and how boomer parents, they would just let their children cry. Like they would just go ahead and let their children cry. And so essentially he was making a correlation to having your child be in distress and letting them cry. And then he was saying that like the way humans are, the way that they are, because that's how early it starts. It literally starts when you're a fucking baby. And so someone challenged him, and this guy challenged him, and he said, well, he said that's incorrect, because he said if you were correct, what you're saying is that most humans don't know how to emotionally regulate, and most humans don't know how to deal with things on a deep psychological level. And he said, and there you have it. You've proved my point, because everyone's fucked up. Yes, the myth of normal. Yes, the myth of normal. He said exactly. He said, I rest my case. I rest my case, because people do not know how to emotionally regulate. People do not know themselves on a deep psychological level to understand what the fuck is going on. So therefore, yes, you're proving my point. Yeah, I remember that male teacher. Then they wonder why we can't do the same things as their generation when the environment is not the same anymore because of them. They're always saying back then times were better and stuff. Exactly. Like, keep up. Like, keep up. Look around. Did you have a smartphone in your hand 50 years ago? Did you have food to be able to get delivered with to you 50 years ago? Was your rent $2,200 50 years ago? Like, there is nothing that you could match from how life is today versus how it was 50 years ago. There's literally nothing the same. It's true because a lot of people will say that you're spoiling a baby for holding them too long, and that if you listen to them, that's spoiling them. Exactly. Exactly. And like I said before, then they wonder why these children grow up into adults that don't know how to emotionally regulate. Kids, we're not supposed to be having one person raise a child. They're supposed to be raised in community. So that way it's not as much of a burden to hear a child cry. That way people are under distress, having to lose sleep at night because they have to go to a job and they're losing sleep because they're like, you want to know what? I'm just going to let the kid cry because I'm too tired. It's because we're living in an environment that is that's not matching anything to be conducive for a child to be raised in an environment for their benefit. Children are the most oppressed group. Our society hates children while simultaneously questioning you for not having them, when in reality, the only reason why they're questioning people for not having them is because it's propaganda, because these corporations need more slaves to work for their company to fund capitalism. And people are waking up and realizing, and now the jig is up. People are like, you don't want us to have kids because it's fulfilling and because it's supposed to be our purpose. You just package that when in reality, you want people to have kids to fund your fucking $1 billion company. Yeah, I 1000% agree. And the thing about it is that, oh my God, and then the thing about it too is that it even starts from childbirth. It even starts from childbirth. Did you all know that when babies have colic, a part of the reason why they have colic is because if they get, when they're born, especially when they're born vaginally, the way that the baby is coming out of the birth canal, the doctors, the OB-GYNs, they have to pull on the head in a certain way, and it causes a subluxation, and the baby can feel the subluxation, and that causes colic. So, like when the colicky babies, when they're crying, and you see them and they're like crying and they're arching their neck and arching their back like that, yeah, that's because they had a subluxation when they were born. I learned that from the chiropractor, and I looked it up, and the shit is true. You Google it. The shit is 100% true. So my chiropractor literally does adjustments on newborns. He literally does adjustments on newborns because just the way that they're pulling on the head, just the way that they're pulling on the head, and it could be through C-section too, because I mean, they still have to pull the baby out in a way. But based off of how they have that head, as soon as the mother delivers, it can cause a subluxation and have the child be in extreme distress. People people do not see babies as being fragile. They don't. They see them as miniature adults. Yeah, that's not normal. That's not freaking normal. And they just assume like, oh yeah, like the baby is crying, like just let the baby cry. And it's like, oh my goodness, like people don't realize that these babies undergo a lot of trauma when they're being born. But like I said before, babies and children are such an oppressed group. They're just seen as miniature adults. They're not seen as actual fragile babies. Like they're not seen that way. A spray bottle on his newborn. They learn not to cry. That's insane. Yeah, that's insane. No wonder my son was running away from them taking him out. Yeah, probably seeing them hands getting inching and closer and closer. He was like, "Oh no, I could already tell you don't know what you're doing. I could already tell you don't know what you're doing." And then another thing too is that the way you give birth is not natural. Nobody is supposed to be pulling a goddamn baby out of your vagina or giving you a C-section. You're supposed to be giving birth squatting. That's another thing too. What people don't realize is that in the medical field, especially in OB-GYN, a large reason why OB-GYN was created and why it was dominated by men is because they have a kink for seeing women in pain. So they took every natural way that a woman is supposed to give birth and they did it opposite. Gravity is supposed to work with you when you give birth. So you're supposed to push and you're supposed to be squatting low on the ground, and then gravity will work with you in order for you to be able to deliver the baby. Also, you have hormones. You actually have hormones in your body that will make your childbirth pleasurable. It can be like having an orgasm because there has to be pelvic stimulation and you have to work on your pelvic floor to be able to allow the hormones to happen for you to have a childbirth that won't be as painful. But here they are having you on your back. So now they have you opposite of gravity. So now gravity is working against you. Like when you go deep into how things are supposed to be in medicine, it's going to piss you off. It's insanity. Yes, you're supposed to be squatting. That's why they have that little I forgot what the poop thing is, what the name, the squatty potty. They have the squatty potty because you're supposed to be squatting. Your legs are supposed to be elevated. Like literally, your knees are supposed to damn near be at your shoulders when you're pooping. Oh my God, one of my exes, that's legit how he used to take a poop. That's how he used to take a poop. He used to put his feet on the toilet seat. He told me, he's like, "Yeah, I just poop like this because it's way easier." He would put his feet on the toilet seat. He's a man, and even he knew. Even he knew. He was like, "We're not supposed to be pooping this way." Yes, I have seen people do that. Put feet on toilet seat down. Yeah. The practice of giving birth laying down originated from that one king who wanted to watch his child come out. Exactly. It all comes back to a man. It's all based off of what they want. Can the hospital stop you if you do squat? I don't think so. I don't think it's any of their business. I know it's the right way, but walking in on that would fry me so bad. Ciao. Like literally, they do everything purposely to make your life harder. When you go to the historic roots of how you're supposed to do things, you look at what we do today and you're like, "Damn, they went out of their way to make sure this shit was way more difficult than it had to be." And my ex-boyfriend was little. I told y'all I like little men. I don't like big men. I like little men. So that way I could go, that way I could slap them. I could slap them and throw them one side and then pick them up and throw them on the other side. I like little men. These men ruining the nature flow of things always, and they wonder why life looks the way it does. Exactly. Like I seen a little man at the gym today, and I was like, "Oh, he's so cute." He was little. He was little. I was like, "Aw." I looked at him. I was like, I looked at him, and the first thought I said, I would just love to just take him by the legs and just go. When you grab little kids by the legs and you walk, you run around and you be having them hang, they'd be like this. That's what I wanted to do to him. He was so small. I guess I'll tone my piano to 432 hertz then. Yeah, girl, they're over here fucking up the frequency. They're over here ruining the frequency. You savage girl, I'm telling you, I seen him. I was like, oh, he's small. I was like, I know I could take him. I know I could take him. He little as hell. He was small. He had to have been like 5'6", maybe like 140, maybe 140, 150. He was little. He was small. Exactly. Survival instincts 1,000. Cause girl, I never wanted to be with a big man. Cause see, I already know how I am. I piss people off. I piss people off. I'm like, I already know I get a negative reaction out of a man. The last thing I need is to piss off a man that's 6'1" and 250 pounds. Okay, that's the last thing that I need to be doing is pissing off a man that's towering over me. I gotta piss somebody off that I at least can have a good fight up against. Even if I lose, at least I'm not out there just gonna completely not even have a chance. I at least gotta have a chance with somebody if I know I'm gonna piss them off. Yeah, he was so scrawny. He had no muscle tone. Like at least when I do deal with men and I deal with small men, they gotta have something. They gotta have some muscle. He had nothing. He was flat. He was flat everywhere. He looked like a grown man too. That was the thing. He didn't look like no teenager or anything like that, or like a high schooler. He looked he looked like a grown man. He looked like a grown ash man. All right, y'all. I'm gonna get off of here. I'm gonna get off of here. Thank y'all for putting up with me trying to do the live stream not once, not twice, but 3 times because we had so many technical difficulties to start. But I'm glad that the sound works. I also did not know that Nick Fuentes is 5'3". And the thing about it, let me just end off with this. The thing about it is that it's not the height. It's never the height. Like this is why I say the red pill, they do talking points. They do pain talking points. So they like to say he needs to be 6 feet. He needs to have a six inch peen, and then he needs to make 6 figures. They purposely tell men that because they want men to be angry over the fact of feeling hopeless. So they're pretty much telling men women want things for you, and the 2 out of the 3 things you have no control over, while also saying 6 foot, because guess what, the average height is 5'9". The average height is 5'9". It's a very small percentage of men who are 6 feet. So they're purposely giving men a pain point to be angry at women by trying to make it seem as if women want something that is not attainable. Prince was like 5'3". Everyone liked Prince. It's never the height. It's never the height. If you have a good attitude, women will overlook things like your height, unless she's really, really tall. I'm sure like a 5'7" woman probably doesn't want to deal with a 5'3" man. But the average height of a woman is like 5'4", 5'4", 5'3". So you're at least going to be with someone as a man at 5'3", the same height, or maybe a little bit small or a little bit bigger than you. So they love to try to paint this picture in the red pill to be like, yeah, see, these women want a man that doesn't exist. And it's like, that's not true. Like, most women want to be in a relationship with somebody, and women will make astounding concessions to be in a relationship with someone. We've seen these men that these women are with. These men don't even need a house or a car or a job, and they're able to get access to women. So you know that it's a talking point. You know that it's a talking point that they use to discourage men from trying and to give them more of the fuel to hate women, because Prince was like 5'3", 5'4". He had no problem getting ladies. So sorry, I had to finish off that. But I love y'all, and I will see y'all next time. Bye.